And welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller with you, celebrating Gemini season now. I haven't used that in a long time. Had to find the button because I are one. Well, not sun sign, but I'm a rising Gemini. And when we have these ingresses and we talk about the sign on the day of the ingress, like we kind of have been doing all along here, then we can incorporate the rising signs into these as well. So for those of you Gemini risings, you're part of this too. The official time is 3:37 Eastern Time this afternoon when the sun leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. So what is this sign of the twin? Well, that's one main characteristic is the twin. So with a Gemini, I think of a couple of things. I think of a butterfly when I think of a Gemini, and some of you are laughing right now. I heard that. It came all the way through the headphones. Wow. So those of you who know a Gemini, when I was in Aspen, I found this amazing place to rent that just fell in my lap, literally. And the lady who owned it was recently widowed. She was in her 80s, and we just kind of needed each other at the same time at our life. And we spent a lot of time at the kitchen table talking. And I really learned the sign of Gemini, even though I, should have looked just in the mirror. But her name was Mary. So in talking with Mary, we would be on a subject for a few minutes, and then she would just completely change over to left field, and we'd explore that one for a little bit. And then it was almost like dealing with a kid, because if you brought her back to the original topic, and she'd take another swing at that for another point or two, and then off to something else we go. And then if we're really trying to accomplish something on this one main thread, for me being an in-depth Scorpio, we're leaving this conversation way too soon here. So we'd have to come back to the conversation, and it'd be like like a yo-yo, like here's the center point. Like if you're throwing a yo-yo from your chest, like from your sternum area, and you throw the yo-yo out this way, and then you face to the right, and you throw it out, and you face to the left and throw it out. That was like a conversation with Mary, but we'd always get back to center. She just didn't want to stay on it for too long. And as long as I danced with that, I could have a great conversation. If I tried to do the deep Scorpio, solve every aspect of this thing conversation, she'd be out. She would get up and leave and go in the other room. But see, that's Gemini, because Gemini is thinking all the time. So that's the other characteristic of Gemini is thoughts, the intellect, the mind. It's about our learning. Typically, we correlate Gemini to our undergraduate or, let's say, initial foundational education. I was going to say secondary, but foundational education. And then we look over across the chart to the 9th house for higher education. So I would even say that you could say that the 3rd house could even take you through college, or at least like an associate's degree or something like that. And then if you go in for a master's or a doctorate or some other kind of specialized training, that's the realm of the 9th house. So Gemini rules the mind. It's all about our intellect. Being in the head, a very Geminian thing. And not in a bad way either. It's in a good way. It's in a learning. It's a wanting to understand and to communicate. And that's the third wheel of our little three-legged stool here. The butterfly, the intellect, the mind, and communication, because a Gemini will learn through communication. A Gemini will express through communication. And because there is this element of the twin, the Gemini can be on both sides of a conversation or this topic and that topic and tie it all together beautifully. In fact, in our Western tropical zodiac, we begin in the spring with Aries, and then we've had Taurus, and now we have the 3rd sign, i.e. the 3rd house, Gemini, which is the first of the air signs, the next one being Libra, and then the one after that being Aquarius. So this is our first zodiacal order entry into air, and air is about communication. Gemini, it's about communicating thoughts, mind, facts, knowledge, etc. Libra, communication about art, beautiful things, music, etc. And then Aquarius, you could say communication through technology, high-tech communication, which, of course, is so foundational in our world now. And the whole focus of astrology really is kind of has its crosshairs on Aquarius, as Saturn is there now and Pluto will be there in a couple of years. Geminis are often youthful-looking people or youthful-acting people. Gemini risings often are youthful or attractive-looking people. And as I look through this, in such a twin-like characteristic is juggling more balls than one at a time, holding down two jobs. It's the twin concept. It's that duality. It's more than one thing going on at the same time, like the conversations with Mary. Not one conversation, threading multiple conversations. So that's one of the points of communicating with a Gemini is, which Gemini am I communicating with right now? And right now is the key, because it's likely going to change on you here pretty quickly. Now, I mentioned Gemini rules the third house, and what are some of the characteristics of the third? Well, we've already talked about it. Education, the mind, learning, knowledge, communication. Also, it covers siblings and one that's often forgotten, neighbors, and short trips, short travel. And again, the opposite ninth house is often attributed to long journeys over water. In other words, oceanic travel. Now, I guess probably that was established before airplanes. So if you were traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States, would you consider that to be third house or ninth house? Well, I guess if you're going there for a couple of days on business and you're going to be back, that might be a third house kind of trip. If you're going out there to stay for a month or 6 weeks or to move, well, then that would be a longer excursion, ninth house kind of thing. So, Geminis, we love you. Whether it's your sun sign, and happy birthday to you over the next about 30 days, or you have a Gemini rising because you were born at a great time during the day, we love you. And we love you just the way you are, because in the grand tapestry of life, you chose it. You chose Gemini, so live it to the fullest. And I'm sending all kinds of love to you on this TGI Thursday, and I will see you back for, TGI Friday tomorrow. Have a great day. Sending love. Bye-bye.